Right now we have future Hall of Famer. We've had him on before. LT's in the house. Mr. Tomlinson, Tiki, and Tierney. What's happening, Ladainian? How are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
Good,
You know why
man.
we like you, LT? Because you can say Brandon's last name correctly. Tierney. Nobody else says it correctly.
Thanks, buddy.
What'd you think
That's
last?
why they call him Brandon.
That's right. You tell them, Ladainian.
No, call him BT like we call you LT. What'd you think of Carlos Hyde last night? I know there was a lot of question marks whether or not he could carry the load. Obviously, with Frank Gore now in Indianapolis, he looked the part.
He did. He really looked apart. But this is a kid that has tremendous talent. We saw that coming out of Ohio State. The questions were, could he stay healthy? And, if he can stay healthy, man, he has a tremendous skill set that I think, he can end up contending for the rushing championship because 168 yards against, typically is a really good Minnesota Vikings defense. He made them look like, like they weren't that good.
Yeah, they looked average.
That's not the case.
Yeah.
We know Mike Zimmer, he's going to have a good defense.
Yeah, you're right. Now, what about on the other side? Were you surprised with the lack of touches for Adrian Peterson?
Very surprised. Very surprised. But I know Norv, and I know how Norv thinks. And he probably thought that, listen, it's the first week of the season. We're in San Francisco. That defense is going to be geared up to stop Adrian Peterson. So let's use their aggressiveness against them. Early on, play action pass. Let's throw the football down the field a little bit, open them up, maybe use Adrian in the passing game a little bit, and then, in the second half, let's get Adrian going to wear down the defense. Mm-hmm. And obviously, it didn't work out like that. Adrian should at least have 20 carries.
Oh, that's a no-brainer.
He has to get his legs up underneath him.
Yeah, and really to ignore him right out of the chute, and listen, Tiki and I both like Bridgewater, and I've heard your commentary on the NFL Network. I know that you like him as well as a promising young quarterback, but he's not Dan Marino yet. To have him drop back 3 times to start the game and ignore Adrian Peterson didn't make a whole lot of sense, and they'll rectify that. Wanted to jump around, though, and get your thoughts on a few things. Ladainian Tomlinson, star running back, future Hall of Famer, CBS Sports Radio, Tiki and Tierney. Your former coach, or at least one of them, Rex Ryan seems to have the makings of something special in Buffalo, and the Bills play the Pats there this weekend, Sunday. How good are the Bills? I mean, big picture, what do they do this season?
Well, it's all about the quarterback position, which, we're always talking about that with Rex Ryan's teams. It seems like quarterback, because he has everything else. He always has a really good defense, and in this case, he probably has the best defense in the National Football League. Certainly when it comes to the guys in the trenches on the defensive line, I don't know if there's a better bunch in the National Football League. And then, obviously, you got a proven runner in LaShawn McCoy. Sammy Watkins is an excellent talent. He's a number 1 wide receiver. It comes down to, can Tyrod Taylor continue to manage the game, not turn the football over, and give this team a chance to win every single game?
Do you think he can?
I think he can.
Do you think he can?
Tyrod has, he has the experience now. Remember, he sat for a long time behind Joe Flacco, just kind of learning how to play the game. He saw the mistakes Joe Flacco made, turned the football over. I think he understands for this team, he cannot turn it over. And because he can run the football, I think that bodes well for that team.
Yeah, no, for a lot of that game, he was the leading rusher before they started getting into the rookie, what's his name, Carlos Williams. They were able to do a lot of great things down there. But another team that I think is going to have to rely on a unproven running back is the Tennessee Titans. Like, we saw how good Marcus Mariota looked in Game 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with 4 touchdowns in the first half. But Bishop Shankey is a guy that people, they don't know what to expect from, right? There was high expectations when he was drafted 2 years ago. And now I think you need him because you can't have Marcus Mariota be the 30-time-a-game passer. He needs to throw the ball 25 times a game and let this run game handle it. How do you think Bishop's season plays out this year?
That's a really good question, Tiki, because remember they drafted David Cobb out of Minnesota. And so I'm thinking they're envisioning going with the hot hand because, David did a really good job in preseason of running the football and proving that he deserves carries in that backfield. So, Bishop Sankey is a guy that can do a little bit of both. He can run it and he can catch it. So I think you will see them utilize him a lot in the passing game. But when it comes down to getting between the tackles and getting the dirty work and pounding people, that job is going to go to David Cobb. So those two together, they have to learn how to work together, because I think they're going to need both of those guys. You said it. They're not going to rely on throwing the football 30 times with Marcus. That's not the right thing to do with a young rookie quarterback. So Bishop Sankey as well as David Cobb will be vital for that Tennessee Titans team.
Ladainian, I'm listening to you, and I feel so bad for our respective former positions of running back. They don't make them tough anymore, right? Nobody can do everything. And back, I felt like I grew up thinking you have to be able to do everything. Now you don't have to do everything anymore. Where does that start? Is that college, or where does that weak mentality come from?
Yeah, I think it's the college game, Tiki. You look at all these college teams, everybody runs out of the shotgun now. I mean, very few teams are lining up in the I or single back formation and running, traditional running plays. One team I think about, Ohio State and maybe, LSU and Alabama, those teams. But most everybody else, they're doing these shotgun runs. And so, like I know, it's hard to evaluate these running backs running out of shotgun. Because when you get to the National Football League, most teams are still running traditional run plays. And, when you haven't done it, it's very difficult to just do it. You have to learn how to run the football on the National Football League level. And so now you have guys that do it by committee. You have your inside guys, you have your outside guys, you have your guys that catch the ball out the backfield, and you know what? It depreciates the value of the running back.
Yeah.
So former All-Pro running back Ladainian Tomlinson. All right, so LT, I know you're doing some work with FedEx Air and Ground, and there's an award. Tell us what's happening. What do you got going on?
Yeah, so I teamed up with FedEx Air and Ground, and each week fans can vote on their favorite player at NFL.com/FedEx, beginning after Monday Night Football through Thursday afternoon. And the winning quarterback and running back will be announced prior to Thursday night's game. FedEx will donate $2,000 to their team's local area chapters of the American Red Cross. So all the fans out there, get involved, vote for your favorite player, and you might just get $2,000 donated.
Ooh.
To the American Red Cross in your area.
That's a great charitable endeavor, and we'll certainly tweet this out for you as well, give you a little plug. Before we let you bounce, Peyton's arm, does it regenerate? You worried?
Well, I'm worried about that offensive line. 3 new starters. They're running a different style of offense. Peyton has to hold the ball a little bit longer to to let the play develop in Gary's system. And I don't think that's a good idea because he's getting hit more. Mm-hmm. And so his arm, obviously, let's be honest, it's not as strong as it used to be. That doesn't mean he can't still play, but Peyton needs protection, and right now he's not getting that. So I'm very concerned.
Always a treat talking to you, Ladainian Tomlinson. Good job with the FedEx and Ground Award. What's happening there with the donation to the American Red Cross. Always enjoy watching you on NFL Network. I know we'll be chatting down the road, buddy. Thanks, man.
Tiki, Tierney, I appreciate it.